Mike, what was your reaction this morning?
A lot of memories have been made. This line of trucks behind me at the grain elevator is a common sight during harvest.
It's the busiest school in town.
It was a soggy day for those of us in the tri-state.
The Tri-States News Leader.
Good morning. It's Friday.
It's a serious growing problem. Can we take a look at some of the things you bought?
Would like that pillow pad.
Following breaking news this morning, while you were sleeping, a longtime Quincy restaurant burned to the ground. Sprouts Inn. WGEM's Lindsey Hess has been on the scene since early this morning. She joins us now. Lindsey, a lot of the employees at Sprouts, we were talking before, have been there a lot of years, and now they're going to have to start to find a new place to work this morning.
Exactly, and that's what I've been hearing. Even early this morning, a few hours ago, there was a group of employees just watching the fire, and one employee who's been there 43 years told me that it was like watching his life go up in flames. There's been a lot of tears, a lot of hugging, and a lot of people wondering where their next paycheck is going to come from. And fire crews faced a lot of challenges when they were fighting this fire this morning. The first one was that the fire crews on the north side of town were actually on another call, and the second challenge was the roof and the multiple layers that was on the roof from years and years of remodeling. And as you can see behind me, I mean, the devastation is so obvious. And even though the brick walls are still up, everything in the middle is gone and the roof has collapsed. And Natalie, I know, both of us, we've grown up with Sprouts being such an important part of Quincy. It is a family-owned restaurant owned by the McLeans of Quincy, and it has been for years and years since 1948.
About this time last year, stores were just getting started, and the crowds have already done and gone, it looks like.
That's right, Natalie. The scene was completely different at 3 o'clock this morning. Take a look at this video. I was here and the crowd just rushed in and they ran for those hot items that they came in for. Clerks say the popular items include cookware, luggage, shoes, and coats. Those are the big things people are after. But now that they're coming in and saying they're tired, they're ready to go home. They've been shopping since last night. A lot of stores in Quincy did open last night around 10 o'clock, so shoppers are tired and they're going home for the day. But coming up in a few minutes, hear from the store manager about how that rush really came in earlier and how they prepare for that and what they are looking for the rest of this holiday season. And also, you can follow me on Twitter. I'll be sending tweets at Lindsey_WGEM. Back to you, Natalie.
Organizers of the Safety Awareness Day made a significant contribution to the Great River Honor Flight as part of the festivities. Dan Trower presented a $250 donation check to the organization. The final Great River Honor Flight of the year is on October 25th. This will be the 6th flight of the year and 16th overall. Trower says the donation is a thank you to those who have served our country.
Anytime that you've got your veterans out there, they're the reason that we're standing here today safely. And that's just a great honor to be able to honor them and let them see the rewards for what they've done for this country as well as all of us.
So far, 455 local World War II and Korean veterans have made the trip. 1 in 8 women will develop breast cancer in her lifetime. And with such high numbers, one Quincy business took action today to tackle the problem. Lowe's hosted a fundraising event for the Blessing Hospital Breast Center's Financial Assistance Program. Organizers say breast cancer hits close to home for many Lowe's employees.
It's amazing how many employees have either they themselves have had it or they know somebody that's a very good friend or family member that has been touched by it. So.
Booths included an art station, coat and food drive, and emergency response teams. From sofas to mattresses to even televisions, hundreds came to unload their junk today at a citywide cleanup in Hannibal. The city provided the service for free with the exception of electronics, which cost residents only $1 for each item. Officials with Allied Waste say today's event was a cheap way to get rid of unwanted items that would normally be pricey to throw out.
It's a very generous thing that the city does for its citizens. Basically, roll-offs, dumpsters can be costly, and this gives you the opportunity to get rid of huge amounts of waste.
Fuel tanks and yard waste is not accepted at these cleanups. The war in Afghanistan reaches a grim milestone as a 2,000th U.S. service member is killed in the 11-year conflict. Family and friends gathered at a memorial service in upstate New York to pay their respects for 29-year-old Army Sergeant First Class Daniel Metcalf. He was killed by small arms fire last Saturday while on foot patrol in Afghanistan. Sergeant Metcalf was an 11-year veteran in the United States Army and leaves behind a wife and 3 children. He will be buried at Arlington National Cemetery. Now back on the local front, officials at one tri-state high school say their students are cramped in small classrooms and they don't have access to updated technology. So the Illini West School District in Carthage is proposing to build a $27 million facility near the current high school. For the district to get a new school, residents must vote yes for a property tax increase in November, and the state must chip in $18 million through capital investment funding. Officials say the old building is not only small, but it's not conducive to the latest technology.
We need to be able to have iPads or notebooks for each of the kids because the textbooks will be all electronic, and this building is just not suitable for that. We have technology issues throughout the building.
Would foot 32% of the project, and the state of Illinois would chip in the additional 68%.
WGEM's Lindsey Hess is an official Illinois Youth Ambassador for Stop Out Bullying. Lindsey has important information for parents tonight in this WGEM special report, Mean Girls.
In my work to fight bullying, I've learned the effects of mean girls often linger into adulthood. It's a serious growing problem that parents need to be aware of, and everyone needs to start fighting.
It made me feel really ugly and like there was something wrong with me, because why is everyone being mean to me?
Katie Carl is a sophomore at Culver Stockton College, but she clearly remembers just 2 years ago when she was the target of female bullying.
They play the mind game meanness. Like boys, they can get in a fist fight, a couple of punches, and then they're friends. They'll walk away from it fine with each other. Girls, not so much. Like, they'll hate each other forever.
Mary Demers is a social worker in the Quincy Public Schools and says Katie's story is an example of what many other girls are going through.
Note passing or name calling, name whispering. There's a lot of competition for social status among different groups of girls.
Demers says female bullies often choose victims that are longing to be accepted and purposely leaves them out of a group.
They like make it obvious too, like that they were going to do something after school or whatever, and you weren't invited, and I don't know, they would intentionally talk about it in front of me just so I would like know that they were doing something that I couldn't be at.
Mental health therapist Penny Ibbenson says even when this type of bullying stops, the damage is everlasting.
When you go off to college or you go into a long-term relationship, or even before you get into a long-term relationship, you just always feel like you have to watch over your shoulder to see, is that person trustworthy? Can I count on that person?
It's something Katie struggles with right now. She's starting to make friends with girls in college, but she says the pain never goes away.
And even when you like move past it and things get better, it's like, I don't know, you carry it with you and you're like, I just wish that I could have had friends. Like, I wish that I was close with people that I went to school with and grew up with, but we're not close. And it will never be close. Like, you can't change what happened, so it's hard.
If you think your daughter is being bullied, contact her teacher or principal immediately. You can also call a national bullying hotline 24 hours a day at 1-800-448-3000. That number is also on our website. Lindsey Hess, WGEM News.
WGEM's Lindsey Hess digs deeper tonight in her special report, Heroin High.
I sat down with a local teenager who is hooked on heroin. Many other teens are dealing with the same addiction, but counselors say too many parents and educators have no clue about how widespread the problem has become.
I would say that a lot of kids are doing it.
This 16-year-old Hannibal girl started using heroin when she was 13. She says it's easy to get from students at school or from adults on the streets.
You got 42-year-olds selling to 16-year-old kids.
Because she's a minor and working with a counselor to fight her addiction, we won't show her face or use her real name. We'll call her Jane in this report.
One hit, instantly addicted.
Jane's battle with heroin is taking a toll on her health.
I snorted it so long that I blew the lining out of my nose. So now I can't smell anything. My skin turned a yellowish color from the heroin. I've gone to school so messed up out of my mind, and I don't know how nobody noticed.
Adolescent substance abuse counselor Brittany Hines counsels Jane and many other teen heroin addicts.
Drugs are all over in the schools.
Hines says she's frustrated by the lack of progress in addressing drugs in schools.
We've had kids buying and selling at school. We have had kids use heroin in schools. A lot of them use it before school or right after school, like if they have detention, they'll go out and get high and then they'll come back in for detention. A lot of teachers, too, is in denial that there's no drugs in their school when really there is drugs in their school.
When we contacted administrators at Hannibal High School, where Jane is a student, they were surprised to hear about an uptick of heroin use by high schoolers. But they were quick to point out that they take reports of drug use very seriously.
If we are made aware that there's a possible drug transaction or drug use or alcohol use at school, the assistant principals predominantly get very involved in investigating that.
After struggling with a heroin addiction all through high school, Jane says she has hope for herself as she continues to work with her counselor.
Stay sober and make something out of myself.
Counselors say alert parents should be able to notice if their teenagers are on heroin or other drugs. Isolation, change in friends, sleeping more than usual, and mood swings are all signs of drug use. Also, listen for slang names for the drug. You can find a list of those names right now at WGEM.com. Lindsey Hess, WGEM News.
And tonight, police say they'll be more aggressive than ever when it comes to stopping dangerous drivers in school zones. WGEM's Lindsey Hess is live tonight with that story.
Matt, here at Quincy Senior High, police warn of two safety concerns. It's the busiest school in town on one of the busiest streets. And officers say if you don't obey this sign tomorrow morning, expect to be pulled over.
If you're going slow enough, you're going to be able to stop, but if you're not paying attention, you know, it's an easy way to hit a child.
We caught up with Jenny Welder and her son Chandler as they were picking up last-minute school supplies today. They're excited about the new school year, but like most moms, Welder is always focused on her son's safety.
You worry about car drivers, everybody watching where they're going, what they're doing, and taking that extra precaution watching for the kids.
While parents are preparing to send their kids back to school tomorrow, Quincy police officers are working to keep them safe, reminding drivers to slow down in school zones.
Cops will be out. We do monitor the school zones, usually the first 2 or 3 weeks.
The speed limit in school zones is 20 miles per hour. Officer Meyer says just going 10 miles per hour over the speed limit could be enough difference to take a child's life.
If a motorist is driving 30 miles per hour, it takes approximately 70 feet to get stopped, which includes reaction time and braking distance. If you're driving 20 miles an hour, that lowers down to 38 feet.
Welder says she hopes drivers remember to be on guard, and she's glad police will be out to make sure they do.
I just think everybody needs to take that extra precaution to keep their eyes open on what the kids are doing and do the school zone speed limits.
Quincy police say if you're caught speeding through a school zone, you can be fined at least $350. Talking on your cell phone in a school zone could cost you at least $120. School zones are in effect from 7 a.m. until 4 p.m. on school days. Reporting live in Quincy, Lindsey Hess, WGEM News.